everybody, and welcome to Soulful Conversations with Frank and
Sheila Battle,
who just finished laughing.
Cause he get on my nerves, y'all. Y'all know how he do. He wait right until we press record, and then he do something ridiculous.
That makes it fun.
All right, what's going on, Mr. Frank? Let's catch up with the good people.
Let's see what's new. We just got back from homecoming.
Whoop, whoop.
At North Carolina Central University. We shout out to everybody that just celebrated homecoming.
All the HBCUs.
All the HBCUs and a few non-HBCUs. I want to give a shout out to our listeners. I just found this out while I was down in North Carolina. We have listeners in Durham, North Carolina, in the Bull City, and down in the Queen City of Charlotte, North Carolina.
Hey, North Kakalaki.
North Kakalaki is in the house. And of course, to our faithful Virginia listeners and everywhere else that has not informed us where they live. We thank you all for living. For listening, rather, for living.
Okay, so the generic thank you to everybody who is tuning in.
I'm going to let y'all know something. It's late, and so this might be a kind of a crazy podcast, but we're going to roll with it. We're going to
roll with it. But we do want to take a moment and thank everybody who has liked, shared, and commented on the podcast. Mm-hmm. Those of you who are still breathing in the Quickie episode, we thank y'all. That still remains our number one episode so far. Thank you to all of those who have shared and gleaned from these bantering conversations between me and Mr. Frank.
She used big words.
I was just educated. Anyway, so what else is going on?
We want to shout out to, let's see, we got Deb Mills and Miss Mary Mack.
Miss Mary Mack? Is that a real person?
That's a person that gave us, that's their tag name they signed when they gave us a very nice review, and we appreciate that for you listening on Apple Podcasts and for the rest of you listening on the other formats as well.
Okay, so we're gonna have a giveaway for December. So we're gonna come up with. We have some ideas about some contests. We have some beautiful 15 Minutes of Grace T-shirts that we want to give away for Christmas. So stay tuned to the podcast to hear about what those contests and campaigns are, so that you can get you a T-shirt. A T-shirt
for Christmas. It's Christmas time. What you mean the baby can't have no Christmas? It's Christmas time.
Some people wear shorts when it's cold. I'm just saying how your cousins do, Wow. I'm just saying. So clearly you can get a T-shirt for Christmas.
Moving right along.
Okay. So what else is going on? December. Oh, tomorrow, I guess I'll date us by saying tomorrow, one of our daughters is having a birthday.
Yeah.
Y'all pray for me. I'm trying to get my life right.
She's turning 14.
And she almost as tall as me.
Yeah.
Jesus be offense. I'm trying to get my life right, y'all. One of them is leaving to go to college, and the other one just refuses to stop growing and getting older. So all of y'all mama bears out there, y'all pray for me. Mm-hmm. Send warm wishes and energy to your girl, because I'm going through.
And that college thing became real today. We won't announce what school, but she has been accepted to her first school.
Her first letter today.
So it's real.
Pass the tissue. Yeah. I can't take it. So just as a heads up, we partnered with we're partnering with a couple of organizations here locally. We were just with the Chrysalis Institute in having Ruth King come to our area. She's a phenomenal woman, and she has a book called Mindful Race. And so for those of you who are big readers like me, check out that book. It is an incredible read. One of the famous quotes from her book is that racism is a heart disease, and therefore it is curable. And so if you are a person who practices mindfulness or has a mindfulness regimen as part of your self-care, this is a really, really good book. It's not just about racism or how we can heal racism. It's also about how you can heal your inner well-being. And so we want to shout out Ruth King. We got a chance to take some pictures with her, got a chance to spend some time with her. And as a result, we're going to partner with one of her products and do a teaching on healing rage. We had a soul care session called Healing Our Rage, but we're going to do Healing Rage, the Ruth King book, for the Chrysalis Institute in January. So stay tuned for more information about that. We're partnering with Gracie Harris Leadership Institute in February. And just some cool things coming down the pipe.
Yeah.
Cool
And we
things
got
coming down the pipe.
another cool thing coming up real soon.
Real soon. So we have some guests in the studio.
Yes, we do.
Have some guests in the studio. And the way that I'm going to set this up, because I'm going to let them, I'm going to say who they are, and then I'm going to let them tell a little bit about themselves. We might even switch it up and let them tell a little bit about each other. How about that?
Ooh.
Put your thinking caps on. You should see how nervous they look right now after I said that. They was all prepared to talk about themselves, but now they're going to have to talk about each other.
Yeah. So
we came in contact with this beautiful couple when I will say it was God dropped it in our laps to host our first Chat and Chew event. And we live in the suburbs of Richmond in Chesterfield County, and I had been looking for a venue, didn't know where to go. And was minding my business at the Big Lots and rode. I don't even know what made me ride the rest of the way down the shopping center, but I did. And I could see this beautiful woman's smile from the parking lot. That's just how big her smile is. I was like, oh, my God. And I knocked on the door. I was like, can I come in? And they were like, yeah, come on in. And I came in and I saw the space. I instantly fell in love. Everything about the vibe and the energy of the place is on point. Yeah. Clearly, the Spirit of God is in that place, and they do an incredible work. So we had our first Chat and Chew event at their venue, and fell in love. We fell in love with y'all. And so in the studio, we have Cindy and Amiri. Right? Did I say it right? Yes. Okay. Thumbs up for me. So, Miss Cindy, introduce your husband.
Wow.
Ladies before gentlemen. Plus, he probably need another minute. So, see, I got you, bruh. I got you, bruh. So, Cindy, introduce our audience to your Introduce your husband to our audience.
All right. So Amiri is my husband. We've been married for 15 years this month, which we're really excited for. We've been together for 21 years, but Amiri is an artist, a father, a friend, a mentor, an amazing person. He constantly inspires me daily just to be who I am, just his mellow energy and excitement for life. I often say he's the color to my black and white. So,
I like that. Boo, do you have a catchy little thing about me like that? Okay, no, that's another day. I want you to work on it.
A snapper.
That was so beautiful.
Yeah, that was.
Thank you.
That was so beautiful. So you ready, bro?
Yeah, she set the bar.
Right.
She set the bar, bro. Go ahead, go for it.
She set the bar kind of high, bro.
She did.
Okay, so introduce this audience to your beautiful wife.
Cindy Doyle Richardson-Keys is an amazing African-American woman, mother, daughter, sister, entrepreneur, businesswoman, studious, intellect, intelligent, beautiful, bold, graceful. Spirit altogether is just phenomenal. Mm-hmm. She's one of those people you meet. Yeah, you just
fall in love, right?
You do. You fall in love with her. So, yeah, it's hard not to.
It is. It is. That made me blush. They're so sweet. Like I just loved them. So we're excited to have y'all.
Yes, we are
here at the BATTLEStation.
And we want to really, to personally, we thanked you before, and we want to let everybody know. I mean, really, we thank God for you too, for just being who you are and just allowing us to take a chance, on us, and allowing us to come there and do what we do, and then to stop by and just to see what what's going on there. Because once we connected with you and we shared with other people, and I was like, wow, this is more than just an art center. I mean, they're going to tell you all if you listen, this is a great movement project when you hear about it. Wow. So we thank you from the bottom of our hearts. We thank you.
Thank you all. We feel the same love towards y'all. Definitely.
It was definitely a God thing, because we didn't know where else to go. Like we knew that we had a thing to do.
Yeah.
We knew,
and we didn't have a lot of money.
and we didn't have no whole lot of money. But we want y'all to pay them. If y'all rent their space, pay them because we paid them. We paid them.
Don't trip.
Yes, indeedy. They sweet, but they business people. They are business people. But we, you know, at the end of the day, it was important for us to do it in a space that was already so bathed in what community is about.
Right.
Like y'all are doing what y'all do, and it's not about the money. I mean, you need to make a living because you're business people, but it wasn't about, you know, how many people can we rent to per month, and how can, you know, it was, I shared my heart with you. I told you what the plan was and what we were trying to do. And you were like, yes, here. Yes. Like, you don't need to look anywhere else. You can do it right here. And every accommodation that you guys could make for us, you made. And it was just amazing. We didn't, because we literally didn't know what we were doing, but y'all were right there, just so sweet the whole time, you know, walking us through it like the poor babies, like they don't know what they're doing. Honey, we just gonna help them. And they did, y'all. They helped us because we did not know what we were doing. Right. But people literally are still talking about that event. Wow. And really putting the pressure on us to come back and do something strong.
And we plan to. We plan to.
Yeah. So thank y'all. And we wanted to let everybody know how grateful, you know, because that really was the beginning of the BATTLEStation Presents.
Yep.
Wow.
I mean, we were doing stuff here, and we were trying to keep it small, but it just kept growing and people just kept showing up. So we had to do something different, and you guys really came through for us. And so it's an honor to have y'all here.
Thank you.
Thank you, y'all.
Yeah.
So let's get into it. You two are not just phenomenal business people. Like, you guys came over for dinner. Frank, you missed it. Dude, if I could have taped the story that these people told me. But it's they have a phenomenal story. They have a phenomenal love story. They have a phenomenal business story. Their family is beautiful. So let's go back a little bit. Let's go back before all the kids, before everything. Let's go back to little Cindy and little Amiri. Like, where take us to the beginning. Like, how did y'all meet?
She saw me first.
He tried to say it with a straight face, y'all.
She saw me first.
That might be right, though. I think I did. I was studious. I'm a year older than Amiri, and so we were in a humanities class together. And I looked across the room, and there was this young man with the Fresh Waves and a band T-shirt on, and he was sitting at his desk with his head down, sketching. And I noticed he was left-handed, which stuck out to me a little bit as I was watching him. But he was sketching something in the middle of humanities class when he should have been paying attention. But it caught my attention, and so I just kind of zoned in on it, but didn't think any more of it because he was a freshman and I was a sophomore. So,
and that ain't how we roll.
That's not at all. Right. No, I don't need a younger man. But a good girlfriend was like, give him a chance. Just kind of check him out, give him a chance. And I did. I think we ended up having a conversation later. We were sitting in a class. We happened to have to sit together.
Late to class.
Okay, I was late to class one day. And we were sitting beside each other, and he was sitting in like all these layers of clothes, like all these socks and T-shirts and pants. I was like, what in the world is going on here? And he's explaining it to me. I don't get it. Who does this on purpose? But it was the style at the time in the 90s. So it's pretty cool just to kind of see that. But we talked and just kind of learned more about each other over the years. And I noticed he was very nervous. I think I almost asked him to be my boyfriend. I did, yeah. He was very nervous. We were on a trip in D.C., Georgetown. We went to Georgetown in D.C. and had a good time and laughed. And he introduced me to Chinese food I had never tasted before.
What?
Which was really cool, yeah. I come from a family that we ate pretty much the same thing every day, all the time. Okay. So he introduced me to General Tso's chicken. And it was pretty amazing. I was like, okay, all right. Something different. So, yeah, I think that's how we initially started. And that was at 15 and 16 years old.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you, bro, it was that band shirt. I'm telling you.
I know. Yeah, I knew it was.
Shout out to all the band heads out there.
Okay, for the band heads. Goodness gracious. I knew my husband was going to say something about that part. Goodness gracious.
And you know this.
So you guys were high school sweethearts.
Yes.
Yeah.
We are.
High school sweethearts. And at some point, this went from, oh, you so cute. Oh, you cute too. To, I am head over heels in love with you and want to spend the rest of my life with you. So walk us to that part of the story.
I'll let Amiri take this one. Let's see. When did that moment click for you?
Yes.
I think it clicked for me on my 15th birthday or 16th birthday.
16th.
My 16th birthday. This young lady walked into school with a full sheet cake from U-Crops, knowing that this 16-year-old kid had a sweet tooth, but she had a full sheet cake from U-Crops. Never had U-Crops cake before.
What?
And a full sheet cake of U-Crops, a Yankees cap, fitted cap, and a button-up Van Heusen shirt. And I was like, this girl really likes me. And I really like her.
With this sheet
Who
cake.
wants some cake? But I tell her all the time, and she probably doesn't believe me, but I knew when I met her, God was like, that's who you're supposed to be with.
Wow.
And even as a young man, we go through our issues, not issues, but we go through the young man syndrome of girls and this, that, and the third, and the testosterone. So I was like, okay, I know that's my girl that I'm supposed to be with, but just hold on to her. I'll be back. And so, yeah, but I knew when I met her.
Wow.
Because I used to follow her
Oh,
after school. She played softball. That was my reason for playing baseball. So I can go on the trips with her. She played softball, and every day after school, I would carry her bag to her locker for her.
Oh, see, that's so sweet. Don't you just fall in love with him? That's so sweet.
I knew when we first met. I was like, yeah, that's the one.
That's the one.
The one.
Did you know at 16?
Not at all. Not at all.
Go ahead and tell her how long you thought it was going to last.
High school relationships, 30 days.
30 days.
Out of
She
here.
gave me a 30-day trial. That was it.
Yes, that was it.
That was all you was going to get was 30 days.
30 days. I wasn't looking for a boyfriend at that point. I was so focused. I was graduating near the top of my class. I was on top of stuff. I was playing in life. I knew after I graduated high school, I was headed up north to pursue my law degree, and I was everything but thinking about this 30-day relationship. So,
So, I mean, but something had to have clicked at some point. So what was that moment?
and honestly, it probably was when it really clicked. We had already probably started having kids then when I realized, okay, there's something about him. He's trying to, he really is the person that God called me to. Because all I ever asked for, I know some people have a list of things that they look for in their man and what they want them to be. But, I really just said, God, send me a good Christian man. And Amiri was not what I thought that was at all. Like, who is this silly person? Why did God send me this
for the
person?
silly man.
Yes, all
I
over
know.
the place. I don't know what is going on. But it was not what I envisioned. And I'm so grateful that God showed it to me a different way. That he really, and that's why I can say he's the color to my black and white. Because my life is really set up straight and narrow, let's go. And that's the way I usually think of things. But he comes in and he just brings all this flavor and difference, like, try this, do this. Like, I didn't eat spicy food. So General Tso's chicken, what are we doing here? Well, this is completely different. He was like, you're going to like it, though. So it was something different altogether. And he's introduced me in life to so many new things that I never would have imagined. So I think probably by the time we had our oldest son, it was about when it clicked. Okay, there's something about this guy that is worth hanging on to and sticking around to see where this goes.
Plus, if you was going to keep buying sheet cakes, he won't go nowhere.
Oh, absolutely not.
Absolutely
Yes,
not.
I did learn
So
that.
you had never had U-Crops cake, and she had never had Chinese food.
I had never had, so I grew up in north side of Richmond where Quality Bakery was the bakery for that area. So that's all we ever had was the local bakery.
Right.
And I grew up in a family that all we ate was U-Crops cake. So I
Shout out to
every
U-Crops.
birthday, yes.
We should have a moment of silence for U-Crops. 'Cause
Amen.
Some of us miss U-Crops.
Yes, we do.
And for those of you who live outside of Central Virginia, just know that there are certain grocery stores that carry certain items that they make, and they're their signature items. And cakes from U Crops is a signature thing. Before people got
And
before
chicken.
people and chicken,
yes.
right? And the potato wedges.
Wedges, yeah.
See, we going the wrong way. We're going the wrong way. Come on back, everybody.
White House Rose.
White House rolls. See all of that. And I mean, there are other stores who now carry U Crops products, but there is nothing like going in U Crops to get U Crops stuff. So shout out to U Crops.
Yeah.
But I think it's really interesting that, like I said, my husband and I, we end up in a lot of conversations with people, married couples, single folks. And what you just said was so powerful because the list, you can live or die by the list.
Yes.
And if you are so focused on the list that you miss a blessing that's right in front of you, somebody that's right there, somebody that's been there the whole time, because you're so distracted by the list and having to check off all of these attributes and characteristics that you think this person has to have, that you could totally miss out on the love of a lifetime. And so thank you for sharing that part of the story that way.
Yes.
Because I think a lot of times, I don't know, I think our audience is split, married, and single. And so we get a lot of feedback from single people. So for the single ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you heard that. And I hope you heard the truth of it from a real live couple that you can touch. That the list is good to know what you want, but be open.
Yes.
Be open. Because what if she had never had that Chinese food and he had never had that U Crops cake? We wouldn't be sitting here today. So take us to okay, so your high school sweethearts, both of y'all finally are on the same page about, okay, we're gonna do this.
Yes.
We're gonna do this.
Yes.
You get married, and how many children do y'all have?
We
We had 3 before we got married.
So we're on the same page.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead. You got it.
We did 3 before we got married, and then we had 3 after we got married. So we have 6 total.
6.
We have 6.
They are an auntie's dream.
Like they got 6 kids.
Y'all know, look, the people who know me know, look, they got 6 kids. Like, they can hang out over here because they got all them babies. But tell us the age range of your beautiful children.
18, 16, 15, 13, 12, and 10. 4 boys and 2 girls.
And Daddy nailed all of it.
Yes, we did.
Right off the cuff. Wow. So you guys, I mean, did a plethora of different things vocationally.
Yeah.
When did you guys decide to formulate this business? And tell us about your business, what you started out doing, and how you got to where you are now.
Okay, so the 6 kids pretty much paid. I think they paid a whole lot of reason why we ended up here. So we were both working in corporate America and making decent enough money to live or pay the bills at least. But I realized a lot of what I was bringing in was going directly to childcare, and it didn't make sense to continue to work to pay childcare. And so I asked God for a way of doing something different, and He gave me a vision to start a small preschool from home. All we needed was 4 kids to keep the lights on and be able to eat every day. So I was like, I got 4 kids, and everybody was like, you're not going to get 4. That's almost impossible to do that. And I literally one Friday night after Amiri and I had a conversation about it, I was like, Amiri, God's telling me I got to do this. He's like, okay, let's go. We'll take a shot. We're going to leave this corporate America check. Let's see what happens. And I sent an email out that night. I had 2 kids registered by the next morning and 2 more kids by that Monday morning. So 4 total kids in a weekend's time. No one believed. They were like, "Oh my gosh, this is crazy." I'm not trained to be a teacher by nature, but 6 kids in, I knew what my kids needed to be more than ready for kindergarten when they left. But I'm a teacher at heart. That really was the depths of it. So we started the preschool program from home back in 2009. 2009, our youngest girl was only a year old, and then it started to grow from there. We grew to about 10 or 11 kids in our preschool program alone. And in 2014, Amiri had been laid off from work.
2013.
2013. Yes, 2013. We were, in that year, we had to move. We all while he was laid off and we were doing this small preschool program from home. He was laid off from work. We were scheduled to do our 10-year vow renewal.
We're planning it
for that November, which, is a few $1,000s. It was all these amazing things happening all at one time. And then God gave a vision to take what Amiri does as an artist and combine it with what I do, which is growing people. I love to see people just take off, like that idea hits and they get excited and they're just overjoyed with what they're doing. And so he's like, take what the two of you do and create this space called The Arts, which is Artists Revealed Through Service. It's actually an acronym because service is our thing, community and being there with people and involved.
Okay, wait, go back. Say that again, because I think I saw it, but I didn't know what the letters meant. So go back and say that again.
All right. The Arts is Artists Revealed Through Service.
Wow.
Yes. Artists Revealed Through Service.
That's awesome.
I just feel dumb.
And you did the art in the center, right?
Yes.
Did you do that?
Yes. All of the art on the walls and my own original art.
Oh, yeah. It's nice. I'm just telling you.
Yeah, we're going to give y'all the address when it's over so that y'all can come by and see it. It's an amazing space. It's an amazing space.
And I think it's interesting that you mentioned the thing about him being the color, because when you walk in there, I mean, the colors that are in there, they just jump out. And I was like, wow, this is nice. Who knew this was right here?
Yeah. Who knew it was right here? Mm-hmm. So go back, take us back to your story. I'm sorry that we keep interrupting you, but so you had the preschool. The preschool was doing well.
Preschool was doing well.
Hubby gets laid off.
Yes.
Because we know about that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hubby gets laid off. And God says to you, combine the gifts I gave you.
Yes.
Everything you need is in the house. Combine what you both do, the way I've gifted both of you.
Yes.
And that's going to feed and sustain you.
Yes, it will. And that really has been the whole of our life. I think even when we were initially married, we were not married in a traditional way. Our pastors literally called us up in the middle of Sunday service and like, come on down, we're going to marry y'all this morning during the 11 o'clock service. So we did have about a week notice. We had a week, but it literally was, we told all our family, the family that needed to be there, hey, we're getting married on Sunday. And they were like, oh, okay. Well, all right.
And that Sunday when they did announcements, the Sunday before that, he was like, okay, y'all might want to be here next Sunday. Got a surprise for you. Couple's getting married. Nobody really knew who it was, though, at the time. So it was like, everybody showed up. It was like homecoming for church.
Wow.
Everybody showed up to church that day.
That's
so people still kind of talk about that moment.
Like, we were at Child's wedding.
The pastors still talk about that moment.
Wow.
And literally, we walked right down the center aisle of church and got married there with our 3 oldest boys with us. They were blessed that day at the Sunday morning service. But what was spoken over us, which is so powerful to me, is everything we do, we must do together. Like, it will not succeed if we don't work hand in hand doing it. We have to support and encourage each other through it. So that really was it. So when God made provision for us to take the summer camp program, and that's where that started. After the preschool program, Amiri had been laid off that following summer, we did a summer camp. And I sent out just a simple email to my friends that had email lists like, hey, we're going to do a summer camp from our house this summer. And we're talking about in our living room space and our kitchen space is what we did this summer camp in. We had 25 kids that summer. In our summer camp, in our house. And we did field trips and all kinds of amazing things with the kids. We had 5 other parents that would show up every Tuesday and Wednesday to help us transport the kids on these field trips. Like, we did the movies, we did the museums, if you name it in Richmond, we probably went there all summer long with these kids, 25 kids from our home in a kitchen and living room space.
But I think also the confirmation to that is we were, before the summer started, and we was like, we're going to do summer camp. We was like, we need shirts. And we just so happened to go to Foremost one weekend. And unbeknownst to us, God was waiting for us because there was a number of shirts that they had just put in a bin that somebody, I guess, was getting rid of that had a dove on it, on the corner of the shirt. And it was the colors that we had chose. So here are our art shirts for that summer. Like, it was...
Shirts were like 50 cents a piece or something. So, because we were just starting out. There's no capital. We're a family of 8. There's no money. So all right, God, where we going with this?
So we had uniform shirts?
Yeah, we had uniform shirts. So whenever we travel with the kids, they had shirts that match to go out. Yep. And at the end, every year, at the end, it was a 10-week summer camp. At the end of, and well, I should say we had all kinds of community people that came in and taught the kids skills from how to tie bow ties and neckties. The young boys learned that. We had a seamstress friend of ours that owns shopthebottomhalf.com, and she showed the girls how to make their own tutu skirts. But we had local news reporters that would come that were friends of ours. They came and taught the kids how to do a public speaking class. Spanish. That's something we did. Modeling. So many different things. Yes.
Baking.
Bottles. Mm-hmm. We did cupcake decorating, cookies. I mean, this is a full out summer camp, like something you see it.
Oh, we started the garden too.
We did. We started gardening that summer because I normally kill everything that's green. But Farmer Brown and Mother Nature came in. That was their names, and taught the kids about growing everything, and from seed to why the bees are important and the ants are. I mean, they went through all the details, and the kids grew a garden like in this little 4x4 box. Everything just kind of growing.
It was amazing.
It was amazing to see it. But they did. We did all of this from this home that we're living in. But at the end of the summer, we do a closing program, and the kids on their own got up and said, "God, you have to send Mr. Amiri and Miss Cindy a bus, and you have to send them a building." The kids prayed that. We didn't prompt them. We didn't ask them, hey, what do y'all want? They just got up on their own at the end of the closing program and said, we'll be back next summer. So the following year, we knew we couldn't do it from home again. There just was not enough space to try to do that again. And we leased a church. We leased a space at a church for 10 weeks. And we ended up with 45 kids on the roster that summer. And again, this is just word of mouth, sending out an email. Hey, we're doing this. And all these kids signed up. We had an amazing summer with them. Right before summer camp started, we purchased a school bus.
Y'all got to tell the story about the bus.
So, you want to tell it?
I guess I can. Give you a
the
breather.
Story about the bus.
Give you a breather. So the bus situation, the kids prayed for the following summer, that first summer closing program, and that was an amazing prayer that the kids individually got up and prayed, and then we had a couple that came by and just blessed our life with an amazing prayer to say what God was going to do for us going forward. And that June, I was working one-to-one counseling with my student. My student went home early, and I wasn't supposed to be home that early, but I got home. And when I got home, she said, "Hey, the bus is on its way."
Let me insert just a little bit to back up. We were looking for a bus. So I had started looking, and we had already started raising funds for it. So the community had raised $2,500.
Yes.
We didn't, again, we have 6 kids. There was no money. So our second son gave $20 of his own money he had saved in his allowance to go into the pot for the $2,500. Right. But the community raised all this money because they were excited about what we were doing. And I called around to a local school system, and the guy said, "Hey, I know somebody that sells buses." And he gave me the man's personal cell phone number. I'm sure I wasn't supposed to have it, but he gave me the man's number. And we called him to say, "Hey, do you have any buses?" And we told him what we were doing, what our mission was. And he was like, "That's awesome. I want to help you. I'll call you back tomorrow." He said, "I have a bus for you, $2,500. And he's describing the bus to me. I'm from Richmond City. Amiri and I, we were used to every bus that you see being torn up or graffiti or
dirty.
Yes, exactly.
Seats torn and all of that.
Yes. Okay, now you go ahead and
Okay. So
she set the stage for you.
Yeah, she did. So the bus was delivered.
It was on the day
on that Tuesday. The bus was delivered on a Tuesday, and guy,
you weren't supposed to be home.
I wasn't supposed to be home.
Okay.
And honestly, we were supposed to actually go get the bus. The bus was in Lynchburg. So we at the time didn't have anybody that could take off with a CDL to go get the bus for us at that time, and so he called her back and said, "Hey, we have somebody that can deliver the bus for you. It's just going to cost you an extra $350. And it was like, "Oh, we only got $25." So that day, her dad just so happened to call her and said, "I want to donate to the bus fund. I just hadn't had the opportunity to." And so he comes and he drops off. She never gave the amount of what else we needed. Right. And he just so happens to come and write a check for $350. It just so happened. And so there's the 2800 and everything that we need for the tax titles and the whole shebang. The guy delivers the bus, older gentleman, very, very, very wise. He was sending people.
Right.
God was just showing up. And so the gentleman came and he said, if you don't mind, can I come in the house while we get the paperwork and stuff done? And at that time, preschools, they were taking a nap. And he walks in and he goes, oh my gosh, I don't know what's going on up in here, but it's just so peaceful and serene in here. That's what he says when he's walking through the house. First time ever stepping foot in the house. He drops the bus off. We're still in amazement because the bus is sitting out in front of our house. It's like, it's a bus. So he sits down and he's having a conversation with us. He asks us, what do we do? He was like, I don't know who y'all are or what y'all do, but y'all have a tremendous blessing over your life. Because this man never lets a bus off the lot for less than $6,500.
Wow.
And he said, the bus, I just drove this for an hour and a half. It wasn't even lunch, but I think he was a little closer, but coming from that way.
Right.
He said, this bus runs great. Phenomenal. The bus was super clean. I mean, no dents, no scratches.
No bubble gum on the seat.
No bubble gum on the seat. All the seats were in great condition. Wow. I mean, yeah.
Wow.
It was amazing. And he actually, before he left, he was like, can I pray for you all? Wow. I mean, we never met this man a day in our life, and he just stopped. He said, it's something about you all. Can I just pray with you all? Wow. And that was another blessing that was prayed over us for what it is that we do now.
So the bus is sitting outside the house.
Bus is sitting outside the house in the front
yard.
yard.
Kids are getting out of school.
And the kids are getting out of school. And to hear those kids come down the street to see what they actually prayed for.
Oh, that is awesome.
To see, I mean, for me, it was amazing. That like grew my faith watching them pray. And then to see it come to fruition. And to hear them on the bus, we got a bus.
Screaming all the way down the street.
And they're running, trying to race to get to the house to see the bus.
Yes.
That they prayed for.
That they prayed for.
So can you imagine what that did for those kids'
Yes.
prayer life?
Yes.
Just saying.
Yeah.
I told you missed it. I told you you missed it. These people got stories. Oh, we was bad, but they got stories. So you get the bus, and then you get a building.
Literally the next year, we leased the church for that summer. We had a bus stop set up at Walmart, and the kids would meet us at the bus in the morning at Walmart. We transferred them to the church, and then bring them back every evening. And that was our summer camp day for 10 weeks for that summer. That was the second summer of summer camp. And then we realized we could not take, because now we 45 kids in, we can't go back home. So what do we do from here? And literally a good sister friend of ours that's been with us since the conception when we started the business from home with her two babies. She was like, Cindy, I found this space. This is great. I think we should call them. And we called the number that was there. And she set up a date for him to meet. He drove down from Maryland and came and met us in our living room and said, this is it. I've already researched you guys. I know what you are and what you're doing. And before he left Virginia, he donated $100 to our building fund to help us. Again, there's no capital. There's no money here at all. Every step of the way, we're walking on faith. I mean, because we're still maintaining to take care of our 8 babies. Our 6 babies. I'm sorry. Hold on.
Yeah.
Lord.
You just got 2.
Our 8-piece family.
You were counting us. That's what it was. God's babies. God's babies. Yeah, God's babies.
Yes.
The 8 of us.
Y'all got
God's children.
Yes.
So I'm not even going to get into how listening to this story again is blessing me, especially today.
Yeah.
With some conversations literally that Frank and I were just having before y'all got here. But I wanted to highlight this story because sometimes people don't understand what it means to be a water walker. Like what it literally means to not know where the next is coming from.
Yes.
You can fill in the blank of whatever you want after the next. But when you don't know when the next kid is coming from, you don't know when the next payment is going to come from, you don't know, and you're still just walking.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think it's amazing that not only has this story impacted you all, it's impacted everybody who had a front row seat to watch it, including those kids.
Yes.
Right.
And so this is why we love having these soulful conversations, because this right here, what y'all are saying, somebody is going to hear that that's on the brink, like I was today, of I'm just gonna get a job. I'm just gonna get a job. I'm just gonna give up on this thing. What was keeping y'all? I mean, I know, but just to put it out there so there is no mistake. I mean, y'all had to have moments when y'all were looking at each other going, is one of us gonna get a job? Like, what are we getting ready to do? Like, how is this getting ready to happen? Or were you not? Did you not have that?
Yes.
So I think it was first. No, you can go ahead and say it. And, well, I did. At I probably was a year in. Were we a year in? It was a year in, and I was like, I think I'm gonna go down the walkway and get me a job
At Big Lots.
Right? I said, it wouldn't be bad. I can help out in the morning with transporting kids to school, and then between that time, I can go get a job at Big Lots. Right. Well, God said, go dump the trash. God said, go dump the trash, and I want you to see something. So I went to go dump the trash, and it sounds funny, but this was real. I went to go dump the trash, and as I'm dumping the trash, the truck was coming in for Big Lots for them to unload all the supplies. And the manager, it's not fair or funny, but God said, turn around and just watch, because this is what you're going to be doing versus where you are right now. So you choose.
Wow.
And so I dumped the trash, and I'm stopping. I'm watching them unload this truck, the 16-wheeler that's packed. And I think every Tuesday this truck came and they had to unload this entire truck. And so the manager was pulling the forklift out of the truck. It was packed with a pallet. And he was yelling, somebody come help me. This thing is heavy. Now, keep in mind, he was probably about 50 yards away from me. And that's how loud he was. And I literally heard God say, now, do you want to work that hard again? I said, no. And I went back inside and I said, hey, we're going to make this thing work. We're going to make this thing work, because I'm not going back to do that.
Right.
And so, that for me, she never had a sway option. That
there was no option.
Yeah, there was no option.
We have a friend.
She taught me that.
Yeah, we have a friend that says if you have a plan B, you're not committed to your plan A, and that was so big for us.
Right.
If you are going to put energy into doing something else, then you're not committed to what it is that God told you to do. And we know this is what God purposed us for. Literally on the wall of our building, it says, "Live your passion, live your purpose." Yes. And all the sayings, we have a lot of sayings and positive affirmations like that up in our building. We're actually about to install a new one that the kids are going to work on tomorrow since they're out of school, that we're very excited about. But it's purposeful to read those words and to know that live your passion, live your purpose, because God called you to something and you got to stay committed to that thing. Yeah. Don't shake, don't falter. And it does get rough. We've had some rough patches along the way. We really have. From us, we're very transparent with our story. We've lived in a hotel for a period of time, with housing, because we've rented homes along the way, and 12 weeks. So
actually, the summer that we were doing summer camp at the church, that we had found this blessing of having more kids. That's the summer that we were living in the hotel.
Wow.
And it was just literally, the owners that owned the house we were living in, they decided to move back to the area and they asked for their house. And we're such a big family, it's not easy to locate another house. And people are leery when you have kids. They don't know if you're going to take care of their home or not. And so it was a big transition, but God had already told me, y'all going to do this for a little while, but I have something greater on the other side of this. Just stand still. I have something for you. And it took us through some changes, even in our marriage and in the business and stuff. We were going through a lot during that period, because I'm sure as I realized was for Amiri, as a man, I want to provide this home and things for my kids, and not having that we're going home to this hotel every day. I'm sure that was a lot and heavy on him. And it was difficult for him to navigate those waters. So it was. But the way, I guess I've always been so optimistic. I'm like, God, we're together. We're all under one roof. We're not living in our vehicles. We haven't had to pull up a pillow and blankets on this bus to sleep. Right. We have been able to do this. And to even say, when we looked at that hotel bill at the end of the summer, and I promise y'all, we were not rich. We had paid over $6,000 to stay in a hotel for 12 weeks. So that was, our kids ate every day.
On top of paying the church that we were leasing from every week.
Yes. Wow. We were still maintaining all the bills and taking care of everything. Yeah. But somehow in that 12-week period.
I'm about to shout right now.
Oh, I know that's right. I'm about to shout with you, dude.
Yeah.
That's to see how God kept us through that. And there have been challenges like that. Even with the business at periods in time, there were things that we, like when we were getting licensed, and there were some things we didn't know. We had to let go of 60% of our income. So we lived, two of us now, because we're committed to this plan A. We lived on 40% of our income for about a year. And God provided every step of the way. And it never is, I don't know, in the introduction, you said we never been focused on the money. We haven't. It's God, you got to provide. There is no other option. There is no other option. We have got to stay committed and stand here and just trust you for what it is that you're doing. So that's been it every step of the way. And even now, as we can look around and go, hey, you want to go to dinner at Morton's tonight? We can afford that. Praise God. And still to be humble enough to know that, okay, we're going to Wendy's tomorrow night.
Tomorrow, yes.
Yes. We're going to eat this $5 pizza from Little Caesars, and we're going to be okay with that. Yeah. And that really is just it. We're thankful to be in the space that we're in now. We really are.
But I would say I learned to be thankful. I thought I was humble at first, coming from the background that I came from, having a lot, but not having a lot.
Right.
From the background I came from, I thought I was already humble. But what made me even more humble was watching my 6 kids.
Yeah.
That I knew they were enduring, but they never showed it. They never showed it. Not once did they look at us and say, hey, what y'all gonna do?
Right.
Wow. Never.
Wow.
There was never any expression, frustration, sadness. The only thing they asked for when we were living in the hotel was, can we find one that got a pool? That was it. And then that's when we went and got the membership to the Y, so that we could just, go from working all day to they can relax and then just go home and sleep. But I learned watching them how to be humble and be thankful for the small things, because they were having the time of their life. They'll tell you now, that was the best time we've ever had.
As a family, all in one space, like our family bonded and connected better. And I don't say that life is for everybody, but for the 8 of us. We said we ran a summer camp with 25 people in a living room and dining room space. That's how big our hotel room was, literally, with one bathroom that we're sharing. So we were in this small space, and it was, I can remember one night we sat in the middle of the floor and we had like a crab boil. Here we are sitting with shrimp and corn and crab legs on this table, having a good time and laughing and enjoying it as a family. So God was just providing every step of the way.
We met some cool people.
We did. It gave us a new look at homelessness, because homelessness is not people just living in their cars or living under bridges as people think sometimes. It is, I've been living in this hotel for the last 3 years because that's all I can afford. I can do for my life right now. I can't rent anywhere else. And we were there at the very beginning of the start of school. And so we thought, because Chesterfield County was willing to set up a bus stop for our son to get on the bus there in the morning.
My head goes off. Shout out to Amiri, our oldest kid. Because I don't know if I could have did that being a high schooler.
Yeah.
But he rode the bus.
Rode the bus to school.
From the hotel.
For about 3 weeks until we moved into our new home. Yeah. And not once did this kid say anything.
But it was amazing to us when we would leave the hotel in the morning to see the number of kids that were coming out of the hotel that were living
we
there.
had no idea.
And we talked to the manager one day, and she said the longest guest that had lived there had been there 11 years. But there were people that lived like this, like, and 40% of the hotel we were staying in, and this is not a slum hotel at all.
Right.
We're talking extended stay America.
Right.
40% of the guests there were living there. That was their permanent address.
Residence, right.
And you don't think of that.
No.
You don't think of that as homeless, because they are considered homeless because they don't have a permanent address. So, but that was life for so many people. And we were wondering why we were seeing a lot of the same faces. They probably were thinking the same thing of us. But
Like, what is going on?
exactly. But that's
amazing.
That is.
But you know what? You guys are giving a lot of credit to your kids.
Yes.
And how they acted out of the characteristic that most kids have, and that's resilience.
Yes.
The thing is, they were with you.
Yeah.
So as long as we're still with mommy and daddy,
Yes.
we're good.
Yes.
We're good. But as parents, I need you to also be able to accept the honor that's due you for raising kids
Exactly.
who were like that. People talk about our kids all the time, and I tell them, I don't know where them two came from. Like, we live with them, and we are amazed at how honorable, how respectful our kids are. But for you all to have raised 6 kids and been on the journey that you've been on, and they be as humble and mild-mannered and respectful. Every time I go, it's yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. Are you waiting for my mom? She's coming. Would you like something to drink? I mean, like, they are all, and it's all of them, from the oldest one to the littlest one. And I just assume they all belong to y'all, because every time I go, it's a whole bunch of kids. I'm like, these are their kids. But they're so beautifully respectful that it's noticeable. And that means that they have been raised by 2 people who instill, because no matter what was going on, you all created enough safety for them to still grow and thrive. And so you should just kind of, not in a, we the bomb kind of way, but at some point you do have to take your responsibility in that. Because you two could have been clashing, warring, raging, fighting, acting a plumb fool in a hotel for 12 weeks in front of those kids. And something in you all said, no, we're not going to do that.
Right.
We're going to nurture our family even in the worst of situations, even in the most challenging of times. And this is the fruit of it. Your kids are amazing. Like, your kids are amazing. So to God be the glory. But the 2 of you had a role in that. And it's real hard for me and Frank when people compliment us about our kids. Like, we just bow our heads like, oh my God. So I understand the discomfort that both of y'all are feeling right now based off what I said. But at some point we got to learn to say, God, thank you for giving that to us to give it to them that way.
And this is another thing, you all may not know, listeners, they are a young couple.
Yes.
This is a young couple. And
are y'all 40?
No.
See?
I don't mind saying I'm 36.
37.
36 and 37. And, you're talking back some years ago and going through this. I mean, that's just amazing.
It's amazing.
And then when you're saying about the kids, we visited one night, and like, your son was taking out the trash, the daughter
Somebody
was sweeping.
Yup.
I mean, one was cleaning up over in the corner.
They was folding up
So
chairs.
like, it is really it's really a family business in terms of the things that, and it was, like you said, and they were respectful the whole time, from the moment we walked in to the time they left. So as Sheila said, definitely got to give y'all credit for just God giving you the resilience and the strength to make it through all of that and still be able to keep them pressing forward. It's an awesome story, I'm telling you.
So God knows we could talk to y'all all night. But please tell this audience where you all are located.
10179 Hall Street Road, Midlothian, Virginia, 23112.
Okay. So they are at Hall and Courthouse.
Yes.
in
Rockwood.
the shopping center where the Big Lots is behind Wawa.
It is there right now, but Big Lots is
It's
about
getting
to
ready to
move across the
move.
street.
That's right. I
They
saw the
are.
sign.
They
Okay.
are.
Rockwood Square.
Rockwood Square is
Rockwood
the shopping
Square.
center,
Rockwood
but
Square
we're
Shopping
behind
Center.
McDonald's and KFC and Wawa.
And all of
Yes,
that, but it's
yes.
right at Hull and Courthouse. So
Yes.
if you can get to Hull Street and Courthouse, you can find these beautiful people. So tell us what do you, because y'all gonna have to come back, because just this whole conversation about resilience and the ability to push through.
Yeah.
Like I think we could have a whole nother conversation about faith in the fire, you know, and what it means to just stand. Even when there's nothing there, you stand on the last promise God kept before you know,
Right.
if that's where you got to be, then you stand right there.
Yes,
So this whole idea around being water walkers, you know, that's where we live too. So we definitely should have y'all come back and talk about that. But just so that the folks can know what's happening with you guys over the next few weeks, next few months. We're getting ready to get into the holiday season. But we wanted to make sure we shouted out some things that you guys have on the calendar. So tell us what's going on at the Arts Community Center for the rest of the year, if you can.
Well, the Arts Community Center is always busy. Like tonight we had karate. So I guess we never really said that, though. We do a lot of things. We have the preschool program. We have an after-school program. We have karate on Mondays. On Wednesdays, we do a session every week called Arts at the Arts. It's a class that's held, and it normally doesn't cost more than $5 for it. And like this week, Amiri is teaching realistic drawing for ages 10 and up. It's like a tween-teen class where he'll teach you how to draw real figures and body parts and all of that stuff, which is cool. And next Wednesday, I know we're doing Zumba with Miss Jasmine, but every Wednesday is something different in the arts. Every other Thursday, we have mentoring sessions. We started a Girl Scout troop there this year. So shout out to Troop 1, 2, 3, 4. That's literally our number. God knew I needed something easy. Had too much going on. So to the awesome leaders that are helping with that, we have 33 girls in our troop, which is
That's
amazing.
a nice start.
Again, put out an email and all these girls showed up. It was amazing. And Fridays, usually there's some kind of event going on. So maybe it rented the building. I know we have the amazing date night event that's coming up on November 17th with the Battles. So we're very excited to have them come on board. We're doing breakfast with Santa on December the 8th. Where Santa will come and he has gifts for all the kids, and we'll have this amazing spread for breakfast. What else is going on? I think that's everything.
They can check your website, though.
They can.
So what's your website? Give them the address.
It's theartsrva.com.
Theartsrva.com.
Yeah. And you also have a Facebook page
We
as well.
do. The Arts Community Center is our Facebook page. And on Instagram, we're the Arts RVA.
Awesome.
That's everything.
So those are all your social media handles?
Yes.
And your website. And so, family, I don't know if y'all overwhelmed or not, but I am. And this is why I fell in love with these folks. Just absolutely pure in heart, just transparent, down home, good people. Just good people.
Yes.
Good people. They are family. We claiming them. We claiming them. We just adopted them and the whole six churn and everybody else. We just gonna take it all. We taking it all. Okay, so the 17th of November. So November is you guys' anniversary.
It is.
Your 15th. 15th wedding anniversary. And the way that you want, I thought this was so beautiful. This was why we said yes. Instead of you guys going to Morton's, you're hosting 50 couples.
Yes.
The goal is to host 50 couples on November the 17th. And what's your dream for this evening, for this event?
One of the things that Amiri and I really benefited from with the church that we belong to was there were lots of couples around us, and that fed into us because both of us come from backgrounds where in Amiri's family is nothing but strong, powerful women, and these women run their homes. So there weren't a lot of men. Amiri and his brother, and he has two other male cousins, were the only guys sprinkled in the family with these amazingly strong women. And in my family, my parents divorced, so it wasn't seeing marriage that worked successfully for either one of us. So we realized the power of being around other married couples. So whether we were struggling or there was a Sunday, he sat on one bench and I sat on the other bench and they came and grabbed his hand or my hand and said, if y'all don't sit together. It was the being around other married couples that really showed us that. And not even just married couples, because this event is even for people that are engaged or seriously thinking about it, because it's important to be around other people that are also there. And one of the things that we really realized in marriage was people don't, especially women, we don't always talk about the different places we're in our marriages and the struggles that we have, and being around another sisterhood of women and seeing that, how important it is, because there's something for when you're getting ready to get married, they have the pre-marriage counseling, and then you're getting ready to get divorced or something there, but nothing sharpens you in the middle. And so it's being around that other iron that sharpens you and makes your skills better in marriage. So to have a room full of 50 couples, so whether we just got married last week, we're thinking about it and the wedding's supposed to be in 2 years. We'll see what's happening, the way we feel right now. But we've been together for 50 years. All that energy in one room to really bless each other. And we're hoping people connect and stay.
Share experiences.
Share experiences and to hear that. Network. And then y'all's amazing stories is always good to us. We love just watching your love stories. So
can I?
Yes, please.
So when we talked about doing this, we were like, for our 15th anniversary, we should have couples. And then she was like, you have to listen to this podcast. This is an amazing podcast, right? And so this was a moment for me, I guess one of these many moments that I share with her that I keep in my little memory bank. But we went out to lunch one day and we're sitting on this patio and it's other people sitting out there. And normally I'm the type of person that will cut my phone off or was like, I don't want to disturb anybody else around me. I want to be respectful to the people around me. But I couldn't. And I started it over. Like we were listening to it on the way to get lunch. And we ordered our food. We sat down on the patio. And I was like, we started over. We'll just sit here and listen to it. And I turned the volume all the way up on the phone. I positioned the phone so it could echo and get louder so we could hear it. And I was like, well, whoever's sitting around is just going to get this because we're going to listen to it because this is good.
Yeah.
This is good
and
stuff.
that was the quickie episode.
Yep, the quickie episode.
Wow. Conversation.
Yep. And I was already in love with y'all. I was like, this right here, this is, what if we and she was like, what if we get them or try to see if they're able to or willing to share that information with the couples? And I was like, perfect.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So you had our yes before the question was finished being asked.
Exactly.
Anytime that we can partner with y'all, it's a yes. And so just so that the folks know, this event is in celebration of their anniversary, but it is also in celebration of love. And so the idea of it is to create a community of couples that do things together ongoing. And so that's why we said yes, and we are absolutely it just ecstatic that we were asked to be the first round of community, of the first round of community. Right. So anybody who knows us knows that we were working to do RVA is for lovers. And so all of this is in the same vein, and the idea is you don't have to be over there on Hall Street trying to figure out how to do it. And we over here on Midlothian trying to do it. Right. We can do it together. And so the other thing that I hope people get out of this is the power of unity. Just the fact that we were all on the same page. We were all trying to do the same thing. And it really is about strengthening couples for the journey. And so, yes, and amen to all of that. We definitely wanted to be in it. Mr. Frank, do you have anything? This was good. This was good. Good. This was good.
I'm just gonna raise my hand.
Like you just want to give him an offering or something. So, I'm telling you, y'all preached to me tonight. Y'all preached to me today. This was absolutely on time, and this was supposed to happen today. I promise you that this was supposed to happen today, if for no other reason than the conversation that Frank and I were having before you guys got here. But we love y'all so much. Thank you. We know y'all have had a long day, and we want to give y'all a chance to get on out of here. But this has been a Soulful Conversation with Cindy and Amiri from the Arts Community Center. And we strongly encourage you guys to check them out. Look on their website, Facebook, Instagram. Go by there and leave a check. Go on and leave a check. Just go by there, and when you see all of those beautiful children, and when you check out the art that's in that space, buy a piece. You could just go on and say how much is that, and leave a check, and support them in what they're doing. We want to make sure that we keep that place open, and that it is no struggle for you all, and that's what we pray for y'all, that the struggle is over.
Yes.
That y'all are in a season of ease, and that this is the season for God to multiply you beyond what you can imagine. Mm-hmm. And we trust Him to do it.
Yes,
because we just gonna keep speaking it.
Yes,
we keep speaking it. We just gonna keep speaking it. But Mr. Frank,
because big lots will be open vacant soon.
Well, and look at there. What if you need more room? Now, wouldn't it be something if somebody just came and dropped a check on y'all and said, "Go on, move over there," and section it off, and have art going on over here and Zumba going on over there, and you don't have to schedule stuff one at a time. You could do stuff, all at the same time if you want. You could run 2 or 3 classes at the same time in the evenings.
Those kids were absolutely playing Monday through Sunday within an hour's time.
Right. Because if they can speak a bus, they can speak expansion. And we agree with them kids, and we agree with God. Because there's no reason for y'all not to have it. There's no reason for y'all not to have it.
So we thank you all for coming out. Like I said, we know it's a long day. Anybody that's worked with kids know how that can be. And so they have had yours and their own. And so we're going to let them go. And again, just thank you all for coming out. And we absolutely do. We love you guys.
We love y'all so much.
Thank you. Love you too.
So, family, be well and take care.
Take care. And as we always say, you just want to share this podcast, like it, whatever platform you listen to podcasts on, just leave us a comment and we'll shout you out.
Yes.
And we look forward to hearing from you, and we'll be back soon.
All right. Take care, family, and be well.
God bless.
Bye-bye.